The text came in at 9:42 p.m. I'll be away for 2 days. Use your hand and have fun, winky face. At first I thought it was a joke, a crude, tone-deaf attempt at humor. My wife, Lena, wasn't the type to say something like that. We'd had our dry spells, sure, but she was never cruel. I read it again, slower this time, letting each word sink in. The message glowed on my phone like a wound that refused to close. Use your hand. Have fun. I sat on the edge of the bed, the room dim except for the pale light from the lamp on her side. Her scent still lingered on the pillow, a faint trace of her shampoo, warm and familiar, now tainted with something I couldn't name. Texted back. What's that supposed to mean? No reply. I waited, staring at the screen, thumb hovering over the phone. The 3 dots didn't appear. The seconds stretched into minutes, and the silence began to crawl under my skin. After 10 minutes I called her. Straight to voicemail. She'd said earlier she was going on a work retreat with a few colleagues, a quick getaway at some countryside resort. It wasn't the first time. She was a project manager, always busy, always surrounded by people she never seemed to stop messaging. I used to trust that. Now I wasn't sure. I stared at the text one last time before setting the phone down, but it kept replaying in my head like an echo that wouldn't fade. Something about the tone, the casual, almost mocking detachment, felt wrong. Too bold. Too familiar, like something said to someone who'd already been pushed too far. That night I barely slept. Every sound from outside, passing cars, creaking floorboards, kept me awake. My mind wouldn't stop imagining her laughing somewhere else, with someone else, while I sat here like an idiot trying to convince myself it was harmless. By morning I told myself I'd stop obsessing. I even tried to believe it. But when I noticed her tablet left on the kitchen counter, unlocked, all my promises to myself dissolved in seconds. I shouldn't have looked. But I did. The first thing I saw was a message thread, one she'd clearly forgotten to delete. It wasn't with a coworker. Not unless Evan Redhart was some new corporate role. My hand trembled as I tapped it open. The conversation wasn't explicit. At least, not at first. It was teasing. Familiar. Intimate in the way only two people who've shared too much can be. Evan. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Lena. Same. Don't wear that cologne again though, it'll stick to me. Evan. You love it. Lena. Not when I have to lie about it after. My stomach turned. I scrolled further. My fingers felt heavy like I was dragging them through mud. Evan. Tell him you're on a work trip again. Lena. Yeah. He never asks. He just believes me. Evan. Good husband. Lena. Too good. That last message cracked something in me. I didn't know how long I stood there, staring at the screen. Maybe a minute. Maybe 10. My hands were cold, my breath shallow. I felt like I was watching myself from outside my body, some stranger unraveling piece by piece. When I finally set the tablet down, I noticed my reflection in the blackened window. Pale, hollow-eyed, almost unrecognizable. By noon I was driving. I didn't have a plan. I just knew I couldn't sit there another second pretending I didn't know. She'd said she was going to the Rose Hill Lodge, a small hotel by the lake about an hour out of town. I'd heard her mention it before, though never for work. The sky was gray, heavy with rain clouds. My wipers squeaked rhythmically across the windshield as I drove, each pass sounding louder than the last. Halfway there I started to doubt myself. Maybe she really was just being crude. Maybe those texts meant nothing. Maybe she'd changed his contact name to Evan Redhart as some inside joke. But the rationalizations were thin. Weak. I could feel the truth pulsing behind them like a heartbeat I was trying to ignore. When I reached the lodge, the parking lot was half empty. Her car was there, silver Honda, parked crooked like she'd been in a hurry. The rain had started by then, soft but steady, soaking through my jacket as I stepped out. I stood there for a moment, staring at the entrance, my reflection rippling in a puddle at my feet. Inside, the lobby was quiet, filled with a faint hum of soft music and the smell of wet wood. A young woman behind the counter greeted me with a polite smile. Hi, can I help you? I hesitated. Yeah, I'm looking for my wife, Lena Coleman. She's staying here. The woman clicked through the computer, then nodded. Room 214. I thanked her, though my throat was dry. Each step up the carpeted stairs felt heavier than the last. By the time I reached her door, my hand was trembling. I knocked once. No answer. Then I heard it. Muffled laughter. A man's voice. Hers too. Something inside me snapped. I turned the handle. Unlocked. The door swung open. The first thing I saw was her face. Surprised, pale, mouth slightly open in shock. And him. Evan. Shirtless, standing near the window like he'd been caught mid-lie. Ryan, she said, voice trembling. What are you doing here? I laughed. It wasn't real laughter. It sounded harsh, jagged. You texted me. Said you'd be gone for 2 days. Told me to use my hand. Thought I'd check what you were using yours for. She flinched. Evan started to speak, but I cut him off with a glare that made him step back. Please, she said, voice breaking. Let me explain. There's nothing to explain. I gestured around the room. This says it all. Tears welled in her eyes. She reached for me, but I stepped back. I didn't mean for you to find out like this. That made me laugh again, bitterly. Oh, so this was supposed to stay your little secret. Evan muttered something about leaving. She told him to go, and he did, slipping past me without meeting my eyes. When the door clicked shut, the silence between us felt suffocating. She sank onto the edge of the bed, hands trembling. It wasn't supposed to be like this, she whispered. I didn't feel anything anymore. With you. My throat tightened. So you found someone who made you feel again. She wiped her eyes. He listened. He made me laugh. I didn't want to hurt you, Ryan. You just didn't stop yourself. Neither of us spoke after that. The rain outside had turned heavier, hammering against the windows like it was trying to drown the sound of what we were. Eventually I turned to leave. Ryan, please, she said, standing. Don't walk out like this. I looked at her, really looked at her, for the last time. The woman who used to be my whole world was standing there, crying for a love she'd already thrown away. I didn't walk out, I said quietly. You did. You just forgot to close the door. Then I left. Outside, the storm had broken open completely. Rain soaked through my clothes as I reached the car, but I didn't care. I drove home in silence, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles ached. The text was still there when I got back, mocking me from the screen. Use your hand and have fun. I deleted it. But the words stayed, burned somewhere deep, where even time wouldn't be able to wash them away.